Hello and welcome everyone, it is me, TheLaval, also known as the Power To-Do List, back for you with a combo guide for my Morphtronic Machina deck. Uploaded this profile 2 weeks ago. If you haven't seen it before watching this, I would highly recommend checking it out. Link will be up here or in the description below. And with that, I will start off with like the basic Machina plays in the case that you draw the redeployment. Just for demonstration purposes. This can essentially be any card and the redeployment. Redeployment will get activated. You will discard something for cost. In most cases, in basically every case, you will add an unclassed bar and a citadel from deck to hand. Those go down here. Redeployment resolves, and on the resolution of that redeployment, unclassed bar will trigger, summon itself, activate its effects on summon, dump a fortress. Fortress will trigger, or rather, you can activate the fortress, discard citadel, and put that fortress on the board. This is your basic Machina line. This is what you will do in 9.5 out of 10 cases. It is very rare that you will do something else with this. It really is very standard. And this kind of gets expanded upon depending on how many Morphtronics you draw. But before I show you guys that, I will have to reset this board real quick. And as you can see, our hand has changed. We have now the addition of a Morphtronic remote in hand, but we are still going to start off the same way. We are going to activate redeployment, discard a card, add unclassed bar and citadel to hand. Pretty standard stuff. On the resolution here, the unclassed bar will trigger, put itself on the board, activate again, dumping fortress. But now we can normal summon that remoten, use those two to make a synchro 7 for Power Tool Dragon. Let's pick this one for better visibility. The common coming in clutch. Activate his effect, grab a Gravity Blaster from deck and equip that, making him gain 400 because we're going to activate that Gravity Blaster again. Activate Fortress from the graveyard, discard Citadel, and there you have it. Very simple, very straightforward, and this basically, from the base of it, only took 3 cards out of our hand because we searched the rest, so we now have maybe a Torrential or a Machina Overdrive left. But for the next part, I will again have to reset this board. So, while the previous combo basically worked with every level 3 Morphtronic tuner, this specifically only works with a Scopen and a level 4 in hand. You will still go ahead, start off with a redeployment, discard a card for cost, add unclassed bar, add citadel. On the res of redeployment, unclassed bar will trigger, put itself on the board, dump the fortress, but now the difference is that you can normal summon Scopen, trigger Scopen's effect, special summon Staplen or Boomboxen from your hand. This really doesn't make a difference. You can discard for fortress, sync for 7. It is really important that you sync with unclassed bar Scopen, but that is important in the end phase. You will synchro summon for Power Tool Dragon here. Pick the common again. Better viewability. Power Tool Dragon's effect will activate. Grabbing Gravity Blaster from the deck, you will go ahead, activate that, make him 400 bigger. What's going to happen now in the end phase is that Scopen has summoned a monster, but the summoned monster gets destroyed during the end phase, which, because an Earth Machine was destroyed, will trigger the Citadel you have in Grave, so you can put that on the board. And this is kind of, the best board you can end on from like baseline, because this one, of course, you had more cards in hand, you needed 4 cards in hand this time. Considering this is a more going first focus deck, you will still have 1 left. If the 1 card you had left is a Torrential or maybe a copy of Machina Overdrive, you're really in luck, because then you can add an additional layer of interruption to this one, or some follow-up play. But even if you find yourself in the situation where you have drawn a Morphtronic as the 5th card here, or something similar. This is not too shabby because you still get Citadel in rotation, you still have the Power Tool Dragon, which can protect himself once, and Fortress also doesn't go down without a fight. But to kind of show maybe some different lines of play, I will shuffle all of this up and do a couple of test hands for you guys to finish this off. And with all that, we are shuffled up and ready to go. As mentioned, this is a mostly going first oriented deck, so we will start with 5 cards in hand. And the first thing we see is a Machina redeployment, which we are of course going to go ahead, fire that off, discarding Vacuuman to, as shown previously, go ahead and grab a copy of Citadel and grab a copy of Unclasped Bard. This is, a combo guide. We are of course assuming that we don't get interrupted in practice, but this is just as if you were playing uninterrupted. Go ahead and give this a few quick shuffles again. Add those two to hand. Trigger the Unclasped Bar, special summon that, trigger the effect on summon. Send a Fortress from deck to graveyard. Bottom card, must be nice. Then we can go ahead and banish that Vacuuman from the graveyard to summon out this copy of Smartphone, trigger the effect, roll a 6-sided die for a 4, revealing the top 4 cards of our deck here, grabbing the cell phone since we still haven't normal summoned. Using this method quickly, not trying to take away too much time by shuffling, we can go ahead and normal summon, set cell phone, shuffle it off camera so it doesn't count, get a 3, hit Remoten, which is very lucky in this case, to be fair. Go ahead and shuffle this back up, losing some cards along the way. And with this, you can basically, decide on which point you will summon the Fortress. I kept it for a bit more board space because in this case, no, we don't have a Morphtronic Engrave. We can tune those 2 up. Summon a copy of Power Tool Dragon, activate his effect. Since we still have 3 copies of Gravity Blaster in deck, this is basically a guaranteed add. Shuffling real quick. So we can go ahead and equip that Gravity Blaster onto Power Tool Dragon. Finish all of this off with a small synchro summon for a copy of Formula Synchron to get an extra draw in. Maybe see something fancy like a Monster Reborn. Trigger the Fortress in graveyard, for which we will discard this copy of Citadel to put Fortress onto the board. You can drop the Monster Reborn now to get Citadel access directly this turn, but you can also keep it in hand because you still have the Torrential Tribute that you can set. And basically, as soon as that goes off, if you pop the Fortress, Citadel will summon itself back, and you essentially still have the ability for 2 board wipes, even if you don't use the Monster Reborn here. And Power Tool Dragon can protect himself from either the Torrential Tribute or from Citadel's own nuke effect, which is rather nice. So you probably would flip the Torrential, nuke the board, Power Tool Dragon would protect itself, trigger the Citadel Engrave, summon that back. And now you still have Citadel who can pop himself, nuke the board again, and you still have a 2700 Power Tool Dragon left. And with all this out of the way, I will get shuffled up again and see you guys then. And with that, we are shuffled up again. We will again go ahead and draw those 5 opening cards. And let's see what we get this time. This is not looking too terrible, to be honest. Go ahead, fire off that 1/1, for which we can already get our Citadel into the grave, which is very nice. can find a copy of cell phone of that, which is also very helpful. And yeah, with that resolved, we can go ahead, cell phone effect here, rolling a die for a 1, find a smartphone of the top, go ahead and activate smartphone's effect for a 4. Only find the scopen here. Now what you will probably want to do is to go ahead and link off these two into a copy of your platinum gadget. Put that up here so he's a bit more on screen. Now you can banish this copy of smartphone, can't resummon that anyway since it was summoned off cell phone's effect. Put that on the board, resolve that effect again, roll a 3. Get a copy of cell phone to your hand. This is again in a very fortunate situation where we haven't used our normal summon. This is probably, not gonna happen a whole lot during testing, but you will go ahead and normal summon that cell phone, use that effect for a 4, find a remoten, which is very nice. Gonna put that on the board real quick, shuffle this again with a few quick moves, go ahead and use these two guys to make a copy of Formula Synchron. Can search beforehand if you want to deck thin a bit, but I take the draw here where I can get it. Banish a cell phone since you still have one engrave for remoten's effect to essentially add another copy. And now the fun part is you still have that platinum gadget, so you can summon a cell phone into a zone he points to. Resolve the cell phone effect again. Finding not a whole lot, but remoten will definitely do because we play a level 4 non-tuner synchro monster. So you can go into that, which you will probably do because you are going to tune these two into a copy of Armory Arm. Forgot a remote trigger here, by the way, which you could use to grab an extra smartphone, so you can add a Link Rebo onto this board. Now we can go ahead, tune those two. And where is he? Where is he? There he is. Summon a Power Tool Dragon. Activate his effect. Gravity Blaster. We still have 3 copies in deck. Where are they? There they are. So this is a guaranteed add. Activate that, make him gain 400. And from here on out, we can still set this copy of Trap Trick face down, probably over here to play around the imperm columns. But that can basically either grab us a copy of Machina Overdrive, which can pop the Formula Synchron to get us to a Citadel, which is probably the more preferable alternative. Or otherwise, you can just grab a Torrential to have a board wipe at hand. But yeah, with this out of the way, I will probably get shuffled up once more and show you one final test hand. And with that, we are shuffled up again. I will go ahead and pick up 5 cards again as our starting hand. And we are again looking quite nice. We're going to go ahead, try our luck with the cell phone, this time revealing 4 cards off the top here, finding another copy of cell phone already, which is very tempting. We are going to definitely take that. Already looking rather nice. Go ahead, fire off that second cell phone, rolling another 4 in this case. Finding at least a copy of Vacuuman. Going second, this would be a piece of removal, which is very nice. but going first, he ends up being link material, which we are going to do. Make a platinum gadget here. Go ahead, activate this effect, put that scope mount to the board, activate that, put staple onto the board, and then we can make a power to dragon. We have not seen a copy of Gravity Blaster, so this is again a guaranteed add. And for our final trick, we will just put both equipped spells onto our power to dragon, turn this copy of Saffron into a Linkuribo, since we are not locked into Machine because we haven't summoned Unclass Spare. And even if that Metal Cruncher in hand turns out to be a rather mean brick, we still can protect us from one attack, and Power to Dragon has 2 opportunities to protect himself. So, and with all this out of the way, I hope you gained a rather decent insight into how my Morphtronic Machina deck works. This common one has been carrying. I will not swap him to the second position. But yeah, I hope you gained a rather good insight in how this deck works and operates. Yes, you will find hands in which you will make a Power to Dragon and pass, just like the third one you just saw. You will also find hands where you will normal summon a Morphtronic, set 1 or 2 back row, and pray to God that your opponent doesn't have a Twin Twister. But, you know, those are sometimes, you know, the extremes that come with playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In general, I found this deck rather consistent during testing. As you saw, twice I opened redeployment, but, you know, if that happens to get ashed, you may be out of luck. But anyways, definitely let me know down below what you think of this one. Check out the original deck profile. If you haven't, it will probably still be up here or in the description down below. And I will thank you guys very much for watching. I will see you guys again next time. But until then, goodbye.